It's Saturday, January 23, 2021. Good evening. This is the Weekend Rundown. I am Rolando Nam. This week, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte plans to be vaccinated with Sinovac in private, according to Malacanang. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque stated in his press briefing on Tuesday that the chief executive will follow Queen Elizabeth's lead in taking COVID-19 vaccines. This decision reversed the president's earlier statement last August, as he wanted at first to be injected with Russian vaccines in public. Philippine House of Representatives on Wednesday approved House Bill 8149, or the Bating Filipino Act, with 212 affirmative votes. Marikina Representative Bayani Fernando authored the bill that seeks to modernize Filipinos' way of greeting as an alternative to the traditional mano po gesture. The greeting, which is done by placing one's palm on the chest, then bowing down afterwards, will also help stop the spread of communicable diseases. After 3 decades of its implementation, Philippine Department of National Defense on Monday ended the UP-DND Accord as part of their anti-terrorism campaign. According to Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, the agency aimed to enforce security as members of CPP-NPA secretly invite students to rebel against the government. The entire UP community denounced this move, saying that this hinders academic freedom and promotes the return of martial rule. The agreement, which was signed during former President Corazon Aquino's administration in 1989, aimed to prevent military intervention inside the state university. U.S. President Joe Biden formally took his oath of office on Wednesday, along with former Senator Kamala Harris as his vice president. He was sworn in by Chief Justice John Roberts minutes before noon, followed by the newly installed president's inaugural address. President Biden called January 20th as Democracy's Day and renewed his campaign pledge to unite and restore the soul of America. Here are the other stories you need to know before you close the week. Philippine Justice Department on Thursday dismissed cases filed against Senator Coco Pimentel for a supposed quarantine breach during the lockdown period. The Office of the Prosecutor General junked the complaints as he did not violate the law that mandates public health officials to report their illnesses. The agency added that Mr. Pimentel cooperated with the authorities as soon as he left the hospital premises after his COVID-19 diagnosis. Interagency Task Force announced on Friday that it would allow minors ages 10 and above to go outside of their homes beginning February 1. The agency approved the recommendations from Trade and Economic Departments, according to Malacanang, in order to stimulate the country's economy. This will only be applicable to regions and cities under modified general community warranty. And world leaders look forward to work with US President Joe Biden as they congratulate his inauguration on Wednesday. Boris Johnson of Britain tweeted that the issues surrounding both nations are, quote, vital, while Justin Trudeau of Canada lauded US and his country's strong partnership. Malacanang also extended its messages to Mr. Biden, saying that they look ahead to work with the Philippine government in a warm and friendly manner. Time now for this week's takeaway. The Philippine Defense Department terminated the UP-DND Accord on Monday night. This is an agreement signed in 1989 by then UP President Jose Abueva and former Defense Secretary Fidel Ramos, aimed to avoid unwanted military intervention inside the state campus. Current security and military heads stated that this document has been declared null and void through the passage of time due to growing communist insurgency. Students from different universities and schools condemned this decision, saying that this upholds military rule from state forces. As Filipinos, one must consider the claims of both parties regarding the secession of the said agreement. On one hand, the Philippine government continues to claim that students from the said university are being recruited to be part of the Communist Party, an organization declared by the Anti-Terror Council as terrorist. The country today continues to be at war with the New People's Army, the armed division of the said group. Different factors affect the goal of the state to quell left-wing insurgency, including students' involvement in activism. Since this nation is a constitutional democratic state, it is the duty of the armed forces to protect and promote peace. On the other hand, those who oppose DND's decision claim that it hinders academic freedom inside the campus, thus promoting martial rule. This experience is nothing new, as it has been the case 50 years ago. Government soldiers stormed the university during the Diliman Commune in 1971, which at the time, students protested rising gasoline prices during Ferdinand Marcos's second term. Proclamation 1081, also known as his martial law, paved the way for critics to be silenced by the authorities. This gave them two choices: to go underground and join the rebel forces, or to criticize him subtly and survive Marcos's rule. These claims must be considered carefully, since these hold their respective historical background prior to the agency's sudden announcement. But for now, let the government do its job. Let them perform their duty to protect the nation. However, should abuses start to climb as soldiers can now enter the campus premises whenever they please, it would be the duty of the ones being served to condemn their actions and put a huge amount of pressure on their backs to renew calls for peace and security, not only in UP, but also in other schools nationwide. And that's this week's takeaway. Before we close the show, some announcements regarding this program. The Weekend Rundown is now a part of the newly created SNC Media. This is a social media news and commentary platform that seeks to report the important stories of the last 7 days. This also brings opinions from the modern Filipino, the Filipino youth, about today's social issues affecting the Philippines and the world. Please follow our Facebook and Twitter pages. That's facebook.com/@SatudaysandCoMedia and twitter.com/@RundownTweets. Let's get connected as we bring you the news before your week ends. And now we've brought you the news before your week ends for this Saturday, January 23. For the Weekend Rundown, I am Mezhdunami. Thank you, and please stay safe.